This is the one with Snoring Silurians.
The Artful Dodger.
And just future Amy.
Oh, it's called Cold Blood.
Here we go.
We're still on our endless voyage.
All through time and all through space.
With Sabine and Angels now.
Dalek, Cybers, Uden, wow!
Tennant, Smith and Eccleston.
And Capaldi, he's the man.
Doctor Who is cool again.
That was Russell's master plan. Who back when?
Reviewing all new Who there is.
Who back when?
Subscribe and rate on iTunes, please.
Rose and Donna, Amy Pond, Rory, Martha and beyond. Join us on this odyssey. What other choice could there be but who back when?
Who back when?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Who Back When, a Doctor Who podcast.
Or Doc Pass. I'm not falling for that again.
My name is Drew B. Wen, Esquire, and to my right is a most excellent co-host,
Leon Punklador Punkin.
and to my left is a most bodacious babe.
Can't remember what anyone else is called.
Just Marie.
Just me. Just Marie.
This is episode N069, dudes!
Well observed.
Nice.
And its title is Cold Blood.
Tis.
And here we three are. And we've already had our piece about part one, Leon.
Yes, we have.
Marie!
I knew you were going to make me start.
Well, yeah, you're joining us for part two. Anything you want to catch the listeners up on?
I just want to tell you that I really enjoyed part one.
What?
Yeah, and then I listened to the podcast, and I was sat there thinking, if I was on this podcast, what would I say? How would I come back to your points, and would I correct you? And no, you were absolutely right about everything.
Oh, nice!
Hey,
You
irrefutable.
totally destroyed this episode for me. Thanks.
Distance high five, Drew.
So yeah.
Oh, really? Sorry about that.
Yeah,
I was
okay.
expecting you to take on a hugely contrarian position. Like, oh, this is the one that really brings it together. It's the one that leads up to the best ever episode.
Yeah, it's like Chris Chibnall's companion to the beast below, that other shining paragon.
Hey, but no, I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I watched it just to watch it, not to podcast about it, because I knew I wasn't going to make it. So I don't think I was being very critical. So maybe that's the difference. I don't know.
Maybe. Well,
But-
this week you get to watch us destroy it for you in real time.
Hooray! Can't wait.
Shall we do that via a B scale?
Yeah, let's start there. Time for us to synopsize.
Slurpify and summarize.
So take a view
and grab a brew
and listen to this overview, this free-for-all.
we like to call a bite-sized chunk of who.
Bite-sized chunk of who.
Doc and Nazreen get picked up by the Silurians, and through a perfect confluence of events, all of our protagonists end up in the same room.
Diplomatic talks commence with Nazreen and Amy as acting ambassadors of humanity, attempting to broker peace between the two terrestrial races.
Slight problem. Ambrose just murdered their only bargaining chip, all because her dad was looking a little green around the gills.
B-scowl over, you are welcome.
Oh, you just. Oh, we're getting so good at that.
It's like we've practiced it 69 times. Roughly.
Yeah, but I also thought we'd practice introducing the episode 69. Right, who wants to start? Leon, do you want to start with a question?
Oh, well,
Meta question.
I didn't prepare a question, but I...
Really? This is the one time?
This is the one time.
What are the chances?
Okay, here's a question. Photosynthesis much?
What, I mean underground?
Yeah.
Where there are luxuriant, beautiful, verdant gardens?
Yes, exactly.
Tomatoes for days.
Yeah, but didn't we just have...
The doctor even goes like, oh, sorry, go for it.
Didn't we just have botanical gardens on a spaceship? Or, no, not a spaceship, in a temple. With
Wait, where?
With the angels.
The Byzantium.
The Byzantium.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, the crash spaceship on top of the temple. Exactly.
Yeah.
But those trees were also part robot, so I'm willing to believe that.
True.
Whereas here's like the doctor goes, well, you have the perfect climate to grow tomatoes. No, you don't. You don't have the sun, for example.
Can't we grow things in warehouses now? Don't you have artificial sunlight?
I guess you do.
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm saying. I don't have a question.
But they're much more technologically advanced than us because they've got ways of making energy and absorbing water and blah blah blah.
Yep.
That's their bargaining chip, is that they're much more advanced than us.
That's
true.
their bargaining chip.
Yeah.
And the writers just whitewash. Like, how can they do it? Advanced technology.
Yeah,
Like, whatever. Like, that covers a whole multitude of sins and omissions.
They were so advanced that they thought that the moon was going to destroy them.
This is
Yeah, and that's plausible because someone laid it there.
Holy smokes. You're super duper right.
I am the
Wait.
superest duperest.
Who laid it there?
The giant...
Dragon.
Yeah, the giant sky dragon.
Ah, of
Yeah, 'cause it's an egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Right, with you. Sure.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have looked like it was crashing. It would have just been gently placed by a giant dragon.
Well, surely they would have developed a society underground because of the giant approaching dragon, right?
Yeah, why wouldn't they? Exactly.
How slow is this dragon approaching?
I don't know. Is it? I would estimate it's twice the speed of a space whale.
Okay.
That's pretty fast.
Well, it's got wings to flap. Space whales just have those, tail fins.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know my space biology.
I had a question about the old episode because they reference this again, and he says that they all died, which is not what you said last week. You said that they went underground for 50 years.
So they go underground and they say, we're going to set our whatevers for 50 years.
Yeah.
And then units led by Lethbridge Stewart, they bomb the cave where they are, or like the entrance to it.
Yeah.
And I guess it's kind of, it's left sort of ambiguous. I took it to be, well, now they're sealed in.
Yeah.
But I guess he killed them. I guess he blew them up.
Lethbridge Stewart is a baddie.
No. He's totally a good guy.
Well, I don't know. Bombing the Silurians doesn't seem like a good guy to do.
Well, actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure Nick and I, when we reviewed that episode, both went, holy smokes, he just killed another... No, I take it back. There was no sealing in. I apologize.
He committed genocide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Even so, the Doctor, to this day, reminisces about him fondly.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
This is not the impression I get as a exclusively New Who follower.
He does sort of I did it to protect the Earth. I'm only following orders, like Nuremberg. I'm only following orders, and my orders are to keep humanity safe, and these people are not. Like, they're endangering humanity.
Yeah.
No, like, at this point, the Silurians have tried to poison all of mankind.
Should we talk about this episode now?
Yeah, let's do that.
Must we?
Oh.
No spoilers, it's not going to be a high score.
Oh.
But just to bridge from that to the new episodes.
Oh, are you going to mention the terribly composited bridge shot?
No.
Where they're just walking across the bridge in front of the green screen, on top of the other green screen.
No, but now I want to see that clip.
Back against the same bridge later.
Do they?
Don't they?
Oh, no.
On the way to the TARDIS.
To be honest, I wasn't paying much attention by the end.
I have no idea which clip this is, but it sounds fantastic.
It's where him and Nazarene still haven't been caught yet, and they're just sort of walking along. It looks like Nightmare.
And it's all red and...
Yeah, and pink and glowing and roseate.
Yeah, they run back past that on that bridge again at the end, and everyone that's been running for 5 minutes, and then the Doctor just catches up because he's super fast at running.
Oh, so that background was so well done and so valuable. They used it twice, if not 3 times. Brilliant. It really was not a step up from Nightmare, the virtual reality headset show in the 1980s. It was that bad.
Wow.
There are serious budget cuts at the BBC in
I totally missed
early
it.
2010s.
Kind of pleased that I missed this. This sounds dreadful.
I was hated it.
Well, that's why I take it back. Now I'm really sad that I missed it. I would have hated it. I would have loved hating it. But no, I was going to say bridging it by, in that, I think possibly the same scene. He also says he met Silurians, but a different tribe.
Yeah, and they didn't look like you.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they did acknowledge at least that they are different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get Homo reptilia that are fish, and you get Homo reptilia that, well, to be fair, these do look like reptiles. I don't know what they were doing calling the original ones Homo reptilia.
Oh, I have a question about Homo reptilia. Isn't that a fairly racist term?
Why?
Like, you're reptilian man.
Well, only if reptile is a pejorative term.
No, but they have nothing to do with man. They're not primates in any way. Why?
Yes, they should be reptilia sapiens.
Exactly. Exactly. So, they're basically going to go, well, on one side of the table, you have thinking man. On the other side of the table, you have reptilian man.
But it really bothered me as well that he didn't use Homo reptilia and Homo sapiens. He said, on one side we have humans, on the other side we have Homo reptilia.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Which is like, wait, hang on, isn't that a human term that you have for us as well?
Yeah.
That's not cool. He could have gone, on one side we have the Silurians, on the other side we have damn dirty apes. Kind of equal. Yeah.
That scene really bothered me.
What, the diplomacy scene?
Mainly because of Amy.
Mainly Amy. doing?
Amy, petulant child that she is, with her head on the table.
Who barely spoke.
I'm so bored. Can't this be over already? Ugh.
Honestly,
we're
I
grimacing
have to sit here
for
for an hour to save humanity. Can't we just fuck off in the blue box and find another planet?
She's in this perpetual state of adolescence. So she's just like the teenager at school who can't be asked to be there. And it's like, no, it's really important. Listen, guys. And she's like,
Yeah.
Can I unleash some of the notes on why I hate that scene?
Okay,
Oh, go for
do
it, please.
Okay, it's a Star Trek TNG discussion with none of the craft or complexity. That's one.
Okay.
The boss is happy to make peace. But why should he be happy to make peace? Why should he just say, we'll just give you all your technology? I don't get it. And then, in the end, they go to sleep for 1,000 years? Why is that? Why is that? Why do they accept that? For a second? I know he doesn't
really
want to
shouldn't.
make war.
That's true. For 1,000 years.
1,000 years.
But I guess, how long have they been under there already?
50.
50 years.
No. 50
No.
since they
Exactly.
were awoken, actually that was a different tribe that was
That was a
awoken.
different tribe, yeah.
But he says, Malachi, who, by the way, is like the best thing about this episode.
Wait, Malachi?
Yeah,
Who's Malachi?
the doctor.
Oh, Malachi is the crazy torture surgeon.
Yeah, but he's got a heart of gold.
The crazy torture surgeon with a heart of gold.
That's one of the least believable things about this episode.
I love Malachi. Anyway, his family have been doing it for millennia. So they've been asleep for millennia.
Yeah, but now it's just him, and he's got to survive another 1,000 years?
Can't they go wake up
on
another
his
doctor?
Todd?
Yeah.
I suppose they could.
Oh. But anyway.
But it's a terrible idea.
Wait, who's going to survive for 1,000 years on his Todd?
Malachi's been doing it for 300
Yeah, but he's
years
not going to...
on his own. We don't know how long they live, I guess.
We also don't know how they procreate.
No.
He and his family have been doing this. And
But-
we've been talking,
yeah.
we've heard tell of different gene chains or whatever. They're not like families. They seem to be almost industrially bred. Do you not think so? Like all the soldiers and...
Oh,
no?
you mean the stormtroopers?
Yeah, the stormtroopers.
Yeah. The clones with no facility for independent
But
thought.
anyway, so
Just
Malachi...
follow orders, yeah.
Malachi has been there, or he and his family have been there for thousands of years. So either they're like cloning or being churned out of a machine, or Malachi and his family has been banging within the family and producing offspring to carry on the job for 1,000 years. So I'm going to say they're cloned or something.
Yeah.
Because don't we also... what about I can't remember the name of the actress now, but
Eve McIntosh.
Bingo Bongo, possibly, who plays both
Alea and Restak.
There you go.
There you go.
And Madame Vastra.
Indeed.
Yeah. They're not siblings, they're something else. There's some... Oh, damn it, I wrote it down. Gene chain.
The
Part
gene
of your
chain.
gene chain
Yeah.
is the quote, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really get what... But she also... She referred to Alea as her sister.
Oh, does she?
Or somebody says... I know it's your sister, but da-da-da-da-da. They use the word sister.
Oh. Well, they presumably just mean proximate, female
Yeah.
kin, don't they?
But I was
What other word are you going to use for
I
that?
was assuming that she was her sister, and that's why they looked so similar. But it was just... I don't know.
Like Martha and her cousin.
Let's make up one actress and then just paint some red bits on her.
Go faster, Stripes.
Yeah.
Faster stripes.
That's what they were.
I don't know.
It seemed like...
shoots to the top of the army.
It seemed completely pointless to have that plot element. Why have the same actress if not to either make something of that plot point or to save on makeup budget?
I think it's to save on makeup budget.
But they have lots of people playing different whatevers, Silurians.
Yeah, they have two guys, one Eve McIntosh, and a whole shitload of stormtroopers.
Yes, but Eve McIntosh has two different kinds of makeup.
They just paint the red stripes on.
Is it just the red stripes? Is it just the red stripes?
Yeah, she does one set in the morning and one set in the evening. Bish bash bosh.
Bish bash bosh.
Days filming, go home, Neve.
Yep.
Maybe on day 2 she just sorted out her accent, but whatever.
You observed the accent in part 1. Is it still here now? I don't remember.
It's pretty much all disappeared now. It's,
okay.
it's clear English communication from here on in.
But Malachi at least explains why the dead bodies are disappearing from the graves, like you said last week, because he's been dissecting people and learning.
Yeah.
But he's the grave robber, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, that's satisfying. I missed that.
Well,
presumably making a different note.
Well, they didn't say that. That's just my interpretation of it. I'm assuming that it's him.
No, I think you're
then
right.
I'll give the points to you and withhold them from the episode.
I mean, he's been doing it for quite some time.
Yeah, because how many... That's the thing. He said, I keep the little ones alive. It's like, well, how many little ones have you stolen then?
Exactly.
Because how many little boys just arrive, like, 3,000
Just disappear.
feet underground?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's not like it's a big community up top.
You have to have stolen them.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Malachi is really creepy.
Yeah.
When he
But with a
gets
heart of gold.
with a heart of gold.
Don't forget that.
But when he gets a hold of living samples, he doesn't go, oh, well, I mean, I can't really do this. I'm used to dissecting dead people. Just goes, keep these ones alive and conscious. I'm going to cut them open.
Yeah, but slow down their aging so that I can look at them for longer.
Ugh, creepy. He also doesn't stop. I mean, he can see that whatever he's doing, the decontamination thing, is harming the doctor. He sees that it's really hurting him. He doesn't stop.
He does stop.
After a while, after the doctor
he's-
explains that his test tube sample is going to die. No?
Well, he's the one that stops. The other woman, what's she called?
Alea, Restak?
Restak.
Yeah, she's like, no, carry on. I don't care if he's in pain. And Malachi, with his heart of gold, is like, oh no, I don't want to cause the doctor any pain. So,
Oh, really?
So he stops.
No,
Yeah.
I don't remember
Yeah, I'm
that.
going to courageously stand up to you, go faster, stripes and all.
Yeah, exactly. He does courageously stand up to her quite a number of times.
He is still totes prepared to cut Amy open while she is alive and kicking.
Temporarily!
For science.
Temporarily!
For science, where would we be if we'd never cut anybody open?
Wait. Hold up.
Grave robbing was all the rage in the 19th century.
Absolutely. Yeah, modern medicine would not be what it was if we didn't have grave robbers.
Yeah.
Think about
God
that.
bless you, grave robbers.
He has robbed a bunch of graves, but anyway, yeah.
But yeah, he stands up to her mainly by snitching on her.
Oh, and getting his boss.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we're back into that scene which I was critiquing and I hadn't even begun to
which scene?
Oh,
Let's hear it.
sorry.
Let's hear it.
even begun to do it. I mean, they skip
Skip
over
your flow.
so much, so you have to... There's nothing really to get hold of, but presumably... What's his name? What's his name? The entire...
Eldane.
Eldane. Well done.
Eldane. Either he does or doesn't know that there are 7 billion humans on the planet, and that is doubling every century. How is staying underground 1,000 years going to help him out? He's either going to wake up in Futurama and there'll be 100 billion humans, or it'll be Mad Max, and they'll all just be torching him with super range long flamethrowers.
Or the whole, let's go to sleep for 1,000 years is such a bum deal that he just says that they're going to do it, but then 20 years later, they've spent a couple of decades just building a massive army, and then 20 years later, they just show up and go, you know what? We're not going to take that desert and that whatever. We're going to take the planet.
They're going to destroy you with their superior technology.
Yeah.
But the doc sets the alarm. They could override the doc's alarm, can they?
Oh, toads.
Yeah, heart of gold,
look.
he'll do it.
He gasses his whole people, by the way. Isn't that really... he's
But he doesn't
prepared.
kill
No, he doesn't kill
anyone.
anyone. He doesn't kill
Yeah.
anyone. But he makes their whole home
But how
uninhabitable.
How pathetic is the gas? Because it doesn't kill anyone. But,
No, because they're inside the little...
No, Restak gets it. She doesn't die.
Oh,
Yeah, she slithers around the corner with
She
a
is
gun.
gonna die. She's gonna die.
Do you think?
Yeah.
She's not going to get woozy and just go sleep.
I think she'd get woozy.
Oh, you think it's sleeping gas?
I don't know.
I thought it was poisonous gas, and
Well, it should be like decontamination gas. So if there's
is that what it was?
I think that was the idea, is that if there's anything that could potentially cause harm to us, then we'll destroy. Like, if there's a bacterial infection, we can destroy it.
Okay.
So you're all safe in your pod, and then when you come out again, the air is clean.
Okay, so you have to be in your pod because otherwise you will be destroyed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I reckon she's done for. I think so.
Oh.
You look like you have more things
Well,
to say about
just-
this.
I'm not
than
shedding tears
Just
about that.
No, nor I.
I mean, the doctor is screaming in pain. I mean, she could be acting a little more. As she's on the verge of apparent death, we've concluded. And she's
Yeah.
just like, I'll shoot Rory with my last breath and
Because she's in
quietly
military, she's like, they show no fear.
die. Oh, yeah, the pain is weakness and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
When Alea...
When they're running,
sorry.
they're going back to the pods, but they're not running for their dear life and screaming because the poisonous gas is going to get them. They're just marching one by one like stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in their identical masks.
In their identical masks. I like the masks. The masks are really cool.
Yeah, they look really cool.
They look really cool.
I'm super pleased that they are masks to begin with, because it is that's already a cool alien face to be in the first place, and then
Yeah.
you take off the mask and there's even more stuff behind it. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done some work on the bare minimum of people. -1. Right, my next problem with this scene is the whole the whole get round a table and two races talk was done much better later on with the Zygons.
Yes.
Is my thesis. Would you two agree?
Who do the Zygons talk to now?
Capaldi.
Yeah, well, they talk to units, don't they? Or is it Torchwood? Torchwood and unit sort of brokers the deal.
But Capaldi...
No, not unit. I mean, Capaldi brokers the deal.
But in the Zygon inversion, Capaldi has them round the table because they're about to kick off with the box, and he's in the box, and that happens. He's there in between them.
He is there, you're right.
He's speaking for humanity.
Yeah, and he gets a lovely big monologue.
He gets a fantastic monologue, as I recall. Yeah, right.
None of that here. Just montage.
It is
Sleepy montage.
The idea is that they're speaking for humanity, and he keeps throwing around this the best of humanity idea, and then you look at who you've got, and it is fucking Amy. It hasn't earned her place yet. She's been his companion for a little while, but I feel like she still hasn't really proven herself.
And he doesn't even know Nasreen.
And he doesn't know Nasreen.
He just met her.
Exactly, and
she could turn out to be super racist.
Yeah.
Well, she does say the planet can't support everyone.
Yeah.
Which to me is a bit, anti-immigrant-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little Lebensraum-y. But what was I going to say? Yeah, so why doesn't he go, okay, hang on. Time out, everyone. I'm going to beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, beep, boop, call my friends at unit or...
Get somebody with some actual authority here.
Exactly, yeah.
And maybe we'll discuss this for real rather than just two randos that happen to be here.
Very often, but on a few occasions, we've had the doctor present when normally it's the Prime Minister who speaks to an alien.
Get Churchy on the phone, but
you could totally do that. Yeah. But even so, you could just get the current Prime Minister.
Harriet Jones.
She's long gone.
Yeah, she's not around.
Shame.
Sorry,
Prime Minister.
But you could get the next Harriet Jones to speak to them, or or you could get Unit or Torchwood,
or the back of Obama's head.
Yes, or shaky head Obama even.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. Oh, yeah. But to come back to that anti-immigrant thing,
sorry, Drew.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's. I don't know if it's interesting or not that they had Meera Syal as a British Asian actress give that line. You do get some immigrants who are like, well, it was fine when I came over here, but the country's full now. It can't have anyone else come over here. I don't know if that has anything to do with why they gave her the line instead of Amy or what was going on at all there. But for me, that is actually probably the most annoying point of the episode.
Okay.
That she says the planet is full and there aren't enough resources to go around for the people who are currently here. Because there are. There are patently enough resources when 0.1% of the richest people in the world have half the global wealth. And Moffat usually likes to sneak in sort of a dig at the establishment and the ruling powers. He'll put a socialist line into Sherlock or Doctor Who. And this just got through the net.
This would have been I don't remember if Doc is present during this conversation.
I don't think he is.
I kind of don't think he is either. But if he had been, then that would have been the optimal opportunity for him to go, no, flick on the nose, humanity. Actually, you're not using your resources well.
Yeah.
It's not... Yeah.
Yeah.
Because actually Amy's line about, well, why can't you take the uninhabitable places? To me, that made perfect sense. And I was like, oh, yes, I got really excited about this scene because I really wanted there to be... you kind of know it's not going to happen because then forevermore, every episode would have to have... half the population would be Silurians.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it would turn into Alien Nation.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
But I was so excited about the prospect of we could share the planet and give over the desert spaces, places that humans can't inhabit.
Yeah.
Give them over to these. We're assuming they can inhabit them because they're lizards.
Yeah, and when the Zygons arrive, millions of extra people do show up, don't they? And they assimilate.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there is plenty of room, and maybe they've thought of that 4 years down the line, but that was
very lazy writing because it skips from point to point to point and it goes, there isn't enough room, but we have technology. And it's like, oh, that changes everything.
That's how a fucking montage works. What have I said? What a montage says is either we meant to put something in here later, but as writers, we just weren't up to the task. We'll wait 4 years. Peter Harness and Moffat will rectify our mistakes with a monologue down the line when we are long forgotten. And another 2 years before I take over the show and... why doesn't... I keep forgetting his fucking name.
Eldane.
Why doesn't Eldane Bowers lead with Oh, we have all this tech, by the way.
I was going to say, yeah, why does it take that for them to come up with, actually, we have something to offer you as well?
Yeah. And
what have they been talking about?
Well, the fact that the montage skips over that makes it ridiculous.
Yeah.
If they started at cross purposes and there was mistrust and suspicion on both sides and he didn't want to reveal all his cards, then you could see that process unfolding. But as it is, it just looks stupid.
Yeah. Because he very much wants it to work. He looks like he should want to embrace... He wants to go to the top and we want to embrace humanity. You would... I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous. The way they do it with Ambrose as killing Alea as well. I mean, but they don't put any character development in, which you could have put in the montage.
For either of them.
No. So what it comes down to is it's the old... humanity, we are a bit murderous, but sure, we're trying to evolve. And that happens over and over again.
Where did the Irish come from? Do that again in Welsh.
Oh,
yeah, she's not Irish, is she?
She's Welsh.
Yeah.
Why did I do Irish?
Good Ambrose.
I don't know, like secret subconscious racism there, really.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, Irish are murderous bastards, yeah.
Great. Yeah, that's it. It's it. I didn't mean to. Irish came into my head. I wasn't trying to.
It's
be
your go-to
Ambrose.
murder accents, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly. I've been watching Gangs in New York.
Question about the whole. Well, oh, sorry. What's her face again? The woman who killed Ambrose. Right. So,
Ambrose.
I'm Welsh, you know. My name is Ambrose. No, that's not Welsh.
She doesn't sound like that either.
No. do an accent. I can't do accents.
Excuse me, my name's Ambrose and I'd like to murder you.
That's better.
That's
spot
a little
on,
bit more
actually.
polite than I feel she was, but yeah, effectively that's
She
it.
was very polite.
Well, she didn't go, pardon me, I'm going to electrocute you.
Oh, I do apologise. I didn't mean to do that. Oops, I seem to have done it again.
Either way, I don't
He's just
understand.
looking a little peaky. So I might stick you with this, I might.
Tell me how to fix them.
Well, anyway, I don't understand why that's the deal breaker.
Is it Silurian you are?
Sorry. Christ. So, no, I don't understand why that's the deal breaker, because at this point, the Silurians have been attacking them, they have stolen their dead, they have desecrated their grave sites, they are prepared to kill all of them. 50 years prior, a different tribe of the same species, allegedly, tried to kill the entire human race. Killing one person, which you could kind of get away with saying, well, it was in self-defense, or possibly it was because she had kidnapped my family.
Yeah.
No one's talking about that. And dissected my husband, and so on and so forth. Like, it's just, oh, well, you killed a soldier who was at war, who was attacking humans.
I feel like...
Hence Dealbreaker.
Restek? What's the name?
Restak?
Restak. Just wanted an excuse. She just wanted...
Because of the whole sisterhood thing. Or gene chain thing.
No, she just hates humans and dirty apes, and she just wants to kill them, and it's just an excuse.
Yeah,
is she the one who says that, do you remember when we were, back in the good old days, we would kill them for sport?
Yeah, she is, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty...
Yeah.
It's a pretty crap person.
She says... Does she say that to Malachi?
I can't remember who she says that to.
She does say it to Malachi.
There are very few Silurians she could have said it to.
He's been alive for millennia with his family. How long
why do they need to go to sleep?
He's been banging his parents and siblings for 1,000 years.
How does she know him from millennia ago when we used to kill them for sport?
Maybe it's not we. Maybe it's as in not like we, you and I.
I'm sure she says
Malachi.
you. No, I'm sure she says you used to kill them for sport.
Oh, really?
Like he personally did.
Yes, and he develops his heart of gold because
he dissects them and sees that they're not so different.
He sees their beating hearts and it warms his...
That's both beautiful and revolting at the same time. That's dreadful, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a question, which maybe I should have led with. Maybe I should have led with this. Sorry, Drew, did you want to finish that point that you started half an hour ago that we don't let you ever finish? I'm really sorry about that.
Have I got anything else to hate about this?
That one scene. I'm really sorry for... No? Yes?
The architecture is very human,
Yes.
and why do they make this big old court thing if everybody's asleep?
Oh, wait, hang on. Yeah, exactly. They don't plan to be awake and have a society down there.
No, they plan to wake up and go to the surface.
Go back to
again.
where they belong,
Yeah,
quote,
they're
unquote.
just down there to hibernate, and they keep some scientists and some military
Good
awake
point.
just for...
Good point, Marie. Terrible urban planning, Silurians.
Yeah, wasted room. It's probably been used once in millennia.
It was built for this one really important meeting that Drew still wants to talk about.
My only other point connected to that was that Eldane, he should have made clear that when he went to sleep for 1,000 years, he did so in perfect confidence that humanity would just wipe itself out in the interim, and that when they woke up, there wouldn't be a problem because we were all such awful, murderous apes, and we could be relied upon to self-annihilate.
I think that's probably fairly accurate. They should have totally gone with that.
But they should have just even hinted at that, and they didn't.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, well, we'll try again.
Oh, wait, we now have a Welsh Silurian?
Yeah. Why not?
Because the question I was going to ask before was, why does Alea not just lick all the other humans?
Yeah.
I mean,
because her lick gland takes 24 hours to regenerate.
Oh, she says that?
No, Doc says that.
Oh, he says that?
Right.
Last
yes, we did
episode.
pick up on that last
Yeah, you
month.
talked about that.
Wait, how long... Has it not been 24 hours more?
I can't remember how.
It's just early the next day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And she attacks in the night.
Yeah.
All right, I've been bested by logic.
My other issue with the big courthouse scene is when they all come down and we've discovered that Ambrose is a murderer, and they go, execute her, and 12 Silurians shoot at her and everybody misses.
Wait, Ambrose? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That scene that...
And they all just run away unharmed and everybody escapes.
Yeah, that's a bit pants. But the best thing about that scene, or like it's what immediately precedes everyone firing, is when her own son is so disgusted by her. He's just like, mother, what did you do?
And her husband, Mo, like, even if your wife had, like, killed an alien, you know, it's terrible, but you'd still be like, hi, like, go over and maybe hug her, like you thought.
Like Tony
dead.
did,
like
Dad Tony. He gives her a hug, like, come here, my little murderous girl.
What does Mo do? Mo does nothing. Yeah.
Well, that's because Mo's met Malachi, the butcher with a heart of gold.
Yeah, exactly.
My other issue.
Keep him coming, Marie. Keep him coming.
Is why does everybody, like, Ambrose is evil? We've established this. She's pure evil.
Oh yeah, she deserves to be cast out.
She deserves to be cast out. Nobody bats an eyelid about Tony. Tony's the one who sets the drill. Like, they all know Ambrose could not have set that drill. She doesn't work there. She doesn't know how it works. She had to have an accomplice, and it's Tony. He could have said no at any point, and he didn't.
Yeah.
And yet he gets away scot-free, and he gets the lovely Nazreen sent herself to sleep for 1,000 years just to be with him. There's no...
Yeah. Also, the Doctor doesn't have a bad word to say about Tony, but he is fine with screaming in Ambrose's face.
Yep.
Like, from 3 inches away.
Yeah.
Like, you are the worst person I've ever met, and I'm 1,200 years old.
Yeah. Tony is worse, I think. He could have said no. She's his daughter. You're allowed to say no. No, Tony. No.
Yeah, and he's older and should be wiser.
No, Ambrose.
Should have a bit more morals about him.
Rory.
Oh, Rory.
This is going to be interesting because I don't really remember what Rory does at all.
What Rory does is when the murderous Ambrose, like, has murdered your only bargaining chip, the love of your life, your fiancé is down there, you're depending on, like...
Oh yeah, he's like, you should speak now, basically.
We've got to do the right thing. He's very moral because he's like, we should return the body.
But he has there's no impetus, it seems, for him to try to rescue his bride-to-be. He's bride-to-be, he's got the ring back in the TARDIS, he's so prepared to have a life with her, but he says nothing, he doesn't advocate for it, he doesn't go, well, like, I'm going to take up arms and go and rescue her. There's no Indiana Jones element of his, you know what I mean? Yeah.
How would you rescue someone at the center of the earth, though?
Well, like, diplomacy to begin with. But when the other scene that really ticks me off, the no webcam, let's talk through the opposite of a flat screen, that scene, the Doctor who sees him through no camera whatsoever goes, no, let Rory speak. Let Rory speak. And you kind of think, well, maybe this is the opportunity for Rory to at least try to get a word in edgewise, but he doesn't even try.
Rory goes Doctor before he goes Amy.
Oh.
When he sees them, when they're hostages, when the non-existent camera zooms out so you can see all the hostages.
Yeah.
He goes, Doctor! Amy! And in that order,
Is it because he first sees the Doctor and then it zooms out?
It pans out at the same time and you see all 4 hostages at the same time.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. My issue with Rory is when they're going to send Elia's body, take Elia's body back down, and Ambrose is like, hang on 1 minute, I just got something to do. She's a murderer. Don't let her out of your sight. Like, she's gonna do something shitty. And her and Tony wander off for enough time to program the drills, And Rory's just sat there twiddling his thumbs.
Which is in a different
legit.
building altogether. Aren't they hiding in the church?
Yes.
So they're going to the industrial area, which is probably not on the churchyard.
Oh no, they're in the industrial area because that's where the transportation pods are.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry, you're right.
So they are there. But yeah, like, would you not just be like, hang on guys, we've got something quite important to do here. Can you just come with me now? Or at least like follow them and try and overhear and see what they're saying and stop the plan. Like, he just sits there with a liar for like at least 5 minutes, and then they wander back, and he goes, "What did you do?" "Oh, nothing. You don't need to worry yourself. It's fine." Like,
it's symptomatic of every single character in this episode is just a vehicle for the plot. They are either implausibly ingenious or stupid, or they turn up in the room, the one room in the whole metropolis.
Amy's like attempted rescue
is the worst.
How does she know where they are?
Exactly. Yeah, we were saying this when we were watching the episode last night. Like, wait, hang on. There's a whole city down there. There were possibly more, like you could consider it more than a city. There's a whole civilization's worth of space down there. And somehow she just finds herself in the right room.
Yeah. You know how you maybe make that a little less shit is you show her in the ubiquitous same tunnel that connects every other room.
It's dark everywhere, except there's light coming from one tunnel or something like that.
Yeah, maybe like that. Or she hears something, or she just is making an approach.
No, she goes, "This door, that's the way," and just goes for it, and it is the way.
Yeah. But however, you have to get her there rather than, "I'm here."
Nope. No,
I am here.
No. It worked really well.
Oh, great.
I mean, she got there, didn't she? It's super efficient.
With her gun, and then she's like, "I'm gonna shoot you.
I'm gonna shoot you. Oh, you took the
you're
gun.
walking towards me. Oh, here, have it. I didn't want it anyway."
You called my bluff.
It's so pathetic.
Didn't something very much like that happen, and cut this bit if I'm wrong, in Human Nature, Family of Blood, where someone had a gun and
I don't remember.
They just stole it off them. Or maybe
very possibly, I don't remember. No, you're right. It's they're having like, is it in the town hall or whatever? They're having some sort of dance.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly.
And it's a cliffhanger that just is ruined in anticlimax by like, yep, now I've got the gun. And you're just lined up in front of me ready to shoot.
Yep, that's it.
Because it was really, because when they find little boy, and then they find all the
bloody little boy.
The boy. At least he's not in this one much.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah. Anyway, so they find the boy, and then they find the soldiers. And Amy's like, "We need to find the doctor. We need to get to the doctor." Da, da, da. And Mo the whole time is, "We need to find a gun. We need to arm ourselves."
Which one's Mo? Oh, the dad.
Yeah.
Chubby Rick Grimes.
Chubby Rick Grimes, yeah. And when they find the stormtroopers, and he's like, "Oh, great, guns." And there's so much this emphasis on guns. I was like, this is going to come back to bite them. The doctor's so against guns. There's going to be something. And
there's gonna be.
But yeah, nothing. They just get the guns taken off them, and that's the end of it. Like, there's no point to it.
Nope.
Yeah. No. Every moment of tension just deflates. Like she actually says, "Fire!" And that should be zap. Everybody's zapped. But within half a second, it's like, "I'm the next ranking Silurian commander, and I say no, and I've just come out of nowhere the same way Amy did. We're all just waiting off stage."
Yeah.
I have a point from 10 minutes ago.
Okay, go Fred.
Which was what annoyed me about Rory in this episode.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Which is when he says, "I won't let you die, not today." And she just goes, "Eh." Within 2 seconds, she's died. That's up with "I'll never let go, Jack." In the history, the pantheon of vacuous promises.
Her death is so just pathetic. Yeah. Like, she just makes the noise. It's just like, and now I'm dead. Like,
and she was so fierce.
The worst.
In the first third of this episode. She was why I was watching for the first 50 minutes. When she said, what was it? I need to find it. When she delivered the "first ape to die" line, and she delivered it so fiercely, they had to actually cut away from her because it was too scary for kids. But even reflecting off Fat Tony's gormless face, you felt it made me tingle.
Yeah.
But they didn't go through with it.
No.
And then they killed her off.
But I think they killed her off because they thought, well, we still have the same actress, and in a way we're going to still have the same gravitas on screen, but it just didn't work.
Yeah.
at all, unfortunately.
Those characters were so ill-defined. They were just, it was the same.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It was just anger. There was no, like, it would be nice to see some sort of compassion or some kind of...
And I think that's evidenced by what it seems, not the BBC's, I was going to say the BBC's, but like the directors / the writers' willingness to just treat them as interchangeable. Like, oh, well, we kill one, it's fine, we still have the other one.
It's fine, yeah.
But actually, no, they should be two completely separate individuals with different motivations, and you could do so much more with them.
Because you could have had Alaya as like the pure kind of anger, hatred.
Yeah.
She's been held against her will. She hates the apes, and then given her sister the more compassionate. Oh no, I don't want my sister to die, and given her a different story.
Exactly. Instead, they made both angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Okay, can I say something about not the kid, but just a quick observation. Something that we discussed in part 1, in our review of part 1, which did not come to fruition. I was kind of hoping that maybe it would come to fruition.
The map.
Yeah, there is still no map.
Yeah.
Somewhere up top on the surface, there is a map.
Perfectly serviceable map.
Yeah.
Beautifully detailed.
Except now it has a drill in it, which no longer exists.
The bubble as well that you pointed out was an unnecessary bubble.
Yeah.
Doc just zaps it and he's like, oh, bubble's gone, by the way.
Oh, really? I missed that.
Yeah.
That's how easy it was?
Before they go up, he just like, zap, oh, gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks, Doc.
That's in a 2-minute stretch where the Doctor zaps the guns twice, Tony's gills, the console, and then the bubble.
Yeah.
It's just zip, 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 zip. What's the Sonic gonna do next?
Yeah, you should have seen Drew last night. He was like, oh my, there are so many Sonics, 4 Sonics in 1 minute.
Foaming at the mouth.
That was pretty good.
How did you like the countdown, Drew?
Oh.
Do you know what? I was that disengaged, I missed there was another fucking countdown.
We need to take a moment. This never happens.
It really pissed me off.
Good.
Because
I'm glad.
It wasn't a regular countdown. It wasn't like 10, 9, 8. It was 5.2, 7.9, 3.6. Like, Amy's just shouting out. Doc tells Amy, we've got 12 minutes, keep your eye on the time. And she just literally shouts out random numbers at him. It's like...
Oh, and then 5 seconds!
Yeah. I know! No.
Well, it's quite fascinating to see how you've passed along your countdown hatred baton to Marie.
That one bothered me anyway. I was surprised Drew didn't pick up on it, but yeah.
There was something else that I know Drew picked up on and was quite annoyed with when we watched this.
Really?
Yeah.
Surprise me.
This is a note that I made on your behalf. Suspended animation. Yet.
They're breathing.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. Happily snoring away.
Yep. Why does Amy get into the pod with him?
So dumb.
So dumb.
You don't know how this pod works, Amy.
It's
if you open it, you might wake it up.
Oh, she got the line, I dressed for Rio back in there as well.
Oh, yeah, well done,
nice
Amy.
touch, yeah, Amy.
Oh, that was it?
Are we supposed to like Amy by
That's
now?
more to hate here.
Yeah, me too.
Like, are we supposed to like her at this point?
Oh, are we supposed to like her? Oh, I don't know.
What were you agreeing to?
Well, I was agreeing that I didn't yet like her. And the series is nearly over.
Like, that's the thing. I feel like at this point you're supposed to have warmed to the main companion.
I agree, but... Okay, so question, because I genuinely don't remember, but you probably know this, Marie. Is she around, or she and Rory, are they around for a long time to come?
Yes.
Yeah. They have at least one more full season after this, right?
They were around until Clara arrives.
Yeah, they were around a really long time. Because that was my other sort of correction from last week that you guys missed.
Okay. Cut this bit out, Leon.
I'll bleep the whole thing.
So you were talking about them seeing Amy and Rory on the hill, like future Amy and Rory, and you kind of said, oh, it doesn't fit with the timeline, so you can't have obviously like thought out. Okay. But actually, yeah, the Amy and Rory, I think there's another, at least one, if not two, kind of full series, and then the last series that they're in is kind of they're in and out and they're trying to live a normal life, but occasionally go on adventures with the Doctor.
This.
And she mentions like, I'm aging a lot more quickly than all my friends because you're obviously so there's big periods where they're not traveling with the Doctor. They're trying to live a normal life and have a job. And
hang on, all her friends. We haven't seen a single friend apart from
got
Rory.
Friends.
Well, if at some point they return to their regular lives and they have to at least pretend that they've never been gone, then theoretically they have all the same friends that they had in the first place, before they joined the Doctor.
Like who? That tiny death.
Good-looking guy.
Good-looking guy.
Good-looking
He's
guy,
offering a
old
superstar.
lady.
Future. There's a
Annette Crosby.
future friend that you well know they have a friend.
Oh, they old lady
Old lady, yeah.
who watches the TV, and old man with a tie that gets stuck in a car.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
All the people in the retirement home.
Huge friends.
Yeah.
Great friends. Best friends.
But yes, they could well have gone on a nice trip to Wales as like a front for being a normal couple.
Yeah.
In that
And
period.
Wales is very friendly.
In that period where we should have said goodbye to them a long time ago, and yet they kept just clinging on.
Which also would kind of explain why they are. I mean, they're super far away, and you can't really tell any details. But you can tell that they're not up there with a walker. Like,
No, they're not
super old.
No,
right?
no.
So yeah, no, but that makes perfect sense
Yeah.
then. Well, thank you very much for clarifying that and contextualizing it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Regardless, now that we have the end where like she's on the hill by herself, there's no Rory. I mean, I did not remember Rory disappearing at all. This was completely new to me. Yeah.
I didn't remember it was this episode. It took me completely by surprise when it happened.
I'm super curious now. I don't remember how he comes back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which is really quite exciting.
You were in for a treat.
But
how
I
about you,
know.
Drew? Have you seen...
Do you remember how he comes back?
I remember where the series goes after this. I know the Pandorica isn't far away, and I think
That's the thing.
Yeah, maybe.
But that's a separate thing, isn't it? He gets
I
sent
think
back
Rory
and
rocks
he's like
up there
he's
somehow.
okay. So I'm gonna like free association bullet point some random memories of about Rory that I have. These might be completely wrong. I expect that they are. Rory turns into an Auton. I'm going to assume that that's wrong. He's also a centurion.
Yeah,
that I remember. I remember him in the uniform anyway.
Yeah,
he works in a museum as a security guard.
Yeah.
And yes, wait, that's a thing.
Wait,
Oh, don't look at me.
it's not...
I only remember the Centurion.
It's a bit of a thing.
It's a thing, right?
Yeah.
There's something.
Yeah.
And okay. So
Do you remember... And the Pandorica...
I don't know what the Pandorica is. Is it what sends him back? No, there's something inside it, and inside is...
Oh.
Do you remember what's inside it?
How about we just get to that later on?
I was going to say, because I don't want
wait 3
confirmation.
episodes.
I don't want to... Is it 3 episodes away?
Yeah, it's really close. Because that's the thing. I'd forgotten that
Oh.
this happened to Rory. It feels early. It feels like we're only just getting to know Rory, and now he's snatched away from us. And I was like, oh, wow, God, the rest of the series we're going to be without Rory. But actually, no, the Pandorica's only like 3 episodes away.
It goes Van Gogh, Lodger, Pandorica, bang.
Yeah.
So there's no Rory and Lodger?
No.
There's-
So you're without Rory, I think, for like 2 episodes.
Oh, okay.
And then something else might... I don't know what happens.
Okay, yeah, no, I
Wait and
want no
see.
spoilers. I want no spoilers.
Yeah, but yeah, it feels like we're just starting to get to know him. He's only just developing as a character, and then he's gone again really soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I mean, Amy's barely developed. Rory
Oh.
is half of that at best.
Although,
But wait, I thought you said he's coming back.
well, I don't know. He might do. He might not. That might be the end of it. Isn't though the montage of all their happy moments together is like the nicest I've ever seen them interact with each other.
I know. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's like, oh wow, look, a couple in love. I've never seen that before.
half of the flashbacks, he's like stumbling on something.
Oh, close.
Yeah, yes.
The last thing she says to him before he gets shot is like, "This way, stupid." She calls him stupid.
Yeah, nice one, Amy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And all of the like nice bits where they're laughing, all the like flashbacks are from when he was saying, "Why did you leave me for another man?" And she's like, "Ha, you're an idiot. Get over it."
yeah.
Yeah. The doctor says, remember how fantastic he was and how funny and how gorgeous. And he's not gorgeous because in that first episode, he was plain Jane and the other guy was super buff.
In fact, he doesn't even say, was it the good-looking one? Oh, no, the other
The
one.
other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the nose.
And Amy has never thought he was funny or fantastic. She has just belittled him. So,
Yeah.
now they're having to shoehorn this in. Too late.
Yeah.
6 episodes too late, guys.
Too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although it broke my heart though when she's devastated. And again, it's like when he fake died a couple of episodes
I was going to
ago.
say, we just had him
We had
died.
that already, and that was really emotional. And it's all like she doesn't know what she's got until it's gone.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'd think after that she'd appreciate him more and she'd be a
change.
bit nicer to him.
No.
But no, she's really mean to him again. and then he dies, and then she's really heartbroken. But it feels like a genuine heartbreak. I got a bit emotional watching that.
It feels like a genuine heartbreak only because there's no going back from this. Whereas maybe the reason she hasn't changed is because in a way the Doctor did fix it the last time.
It wasn't real. He never really died.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so in that sense, like, well, there's no need to change. And also, I am with a magical space sorcerer who can fix it if need be. Like,
he's kind of proven that he will always fix it, so I don't need to worry about him anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, but this time you see in her eyes, I really have to learn my lesson on this occasion.
Yeah.
It's a good minute of acting.
Yeah. I think that's the best scene from her in the episode.
Acting-wise, yes.
So funny.
Acting-wise, yes.
Yeah.
Character sympathy building, no.
You don't feel sympathy for her.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I know that she's going to change. Like, that's only for this 1 minute until even she
But she
will
changes
change.
because she can't remember him. Like,
yeah, that's my point.
It's really. I think that's.
But she's now going to go back
tragic.
to. But she's now going to go back to the same person who, if she met Rory now, she would start from scratch and she would end up being this total heartless person who just cheats on him at the first occasion.
Character development
with Amy?
With Amy, do you think?
I don't think so. I think Rory's had more of an arc than Amy has.
Yeah.
She keeps being told things and then forgetting them. In The Beast Below, she learned all that stuff about future Britain and had it wiped. What is it with memory wipes?
Yeah.
Doctor Who, from the moment Moffat took over to, as we have just seen, the moment he leaves,
everyone gets Men in Blacked.
Yeah. And memories are coming in and going out, and it's a carousel. It ultimately becomes fairly meaningless.
Yeah.
We do still love the show.
It's all right. Chris Chibnall's going to take over.
Hooray! I'm curious.
My other issue with this scene, how this came around, is the crack.
Oh yes.
And so I think you mentioned last week, you were like, "Oh, the crack's going to come back. It has to. We haven't seen it for a while."
Return of the crack.
Oh yeah, and it basically that end scene with the crack and Rory, everything that could have been tagged onto any episode. It's not remotely related to the last hour and a half we've just spent watching these two episodes.
Except they need Restak to shoot him.
They need a bad guy to shoot. It doesn't.
Yeah, villain of the week needs to shoot him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the crack opens. Rory goes, "You can't put your hand in there." Doc goes, "Why not?" "Why not, Doc?" Is because you're literally about to say, if the light touches you, you cease to exist. You're wiped from history. But not
if you have a hanky on your hand.
Reach it, yeah.
If you put a magic hanky on your hand,
that's fine. Yeah.
The crack's never seen a hanky. Doesn't know what to do.
We don't know how to get around this. Special light repellent hanky.
Oh, you've just ruined that. Because I had watched that thinking, oh, good, the episode just got really good when the crack appeared. For me, that was a significant uptick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for me as well, actually.
Even though it was patently ridiculous, those were my favourite 5 minutes.
Oh, God,
of the
no,
episode.
me too, absolutely, yeah.
That being said, it's really a very powerful moment, I think, when at the end he's holding what he fetched, and it's a part of the TARDIS, and he's holding it up to the TARDIS.
Yeah.
That's a fantastically strong moment.
That is amazing, yeah. No, I think I almost want to rate it as 2 episodes. I want to give that last 5 minutes a rating, and then the rest of it something else.
Well, we could average it out.
Yeah.
Like 4.2 versus infinitely lower. Well, we'll get to it.
There was a moment earlier, right in the beginning of the episode, and Rory goes, "I trust the Doctor with my life." And the first time I watched that, it just was like, "Oh, that's nice. The Rory's finally coming aboard." And then when I rewatched it, it just really made me sad again, because I was like, they've just thrown that in there as a precursor to what's going to happen, because you're about to die.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it made me really sad.
For me, it just rang false.
Oh, really?
I mean, I know he and the Doctor have just bonded over baiting Alea into the back of the van.
Yeah.
And I suppose, well, no, Rory's already died once.
And he's seen other people die for the Doc, because in the Vampires of Venice, the two, the daughter and the... Guido, they both died.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't think just because you're travelling with the Doc you get automatic immunity.
Yeah, but he says it because that's what that character has to say to that other character in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just lying to the other character, isn't he?
What do you think?
He's just lying in order to calm her down. I think so. In that Guido episode... In that episode, Vampires of Venice, he says to the doc, well, like, you put everyone in danger and you don't really care about anyone. Then fast forward to the last episode, part 1 of this double feature, Amy gets kidnapped and he's like, dude, Docmeister, like, what the shit, man? My fiance's just been kidnapped. She's going to die because of you. Fast forward to, yeah, it's all good.
But it would have been nice if they'd somehow indicated that it was just him trying to placate her, rather than if it sounded true. It sounded like he was like, yeah, I genuinely trust this man with my life. And it's too big a leap forward from what we've seen.
At the time, I was like Drew. I was thinking like, well, it's poor writing in a way, because he clearly doesn't trust the Doctor at all. Yeah. So I guess he must be lying to her just to calm her down, which is also weird and doesn't seem in character with him.
Yeah, exactly.
But then at the end of it, it seemed like, oh, actually, yeah, no, that is kind of good writing, because it's meant to be, well, he died.
It's
like having
to trust him with his life because he then died.
Exactly. Yeah.
What?
No, but it's the equivalent. It's the equivalent of, well, I mean, I'm retiring. This is my last week on the job, and I have got huge plans for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That character's going to die.
Yeah.
No, it's dramatic irony applied to completely false emotions.
Well, it's dramatic irony, but why false emotions?
Because Rory shouldn't be thinking that. It's not coherent with his character. He only thinks that so that later on it can be like, oh, well, that was dramatically ironic.
But he is a nurse, meaning he wants to, like, it's within his nature to help people, to care for people, and here he is caring for someone, calming her down. Like, don't worry about it. You will get your son and your husband back.
Slip her a Prozac, fuck's sake. They're supposed to be
as a nurse, he would be able to, yeah.
Point.
No. Sorry?
They're supposed to be trusting each other at that point. They are the 3 beacons of humanity, apparently, and now they're lying to each other.
What would have seemed more appropriate in that scene would be for him to say, yes, I know exactly how you feel. I also have a loved one who has been taken by the same people. She is in the same place. You and I are going to work together to get them back.
Yeah.
Yes, take 10 extra seconds and say something deep and meaningful, and don't just skim over it. This episode is all skim. Epitomised by the montage. Also, while we're in that section of the episode, I have to say, why are they taking it in turns to guard the warrior from a dangerous race one at a time? What are the other 2 doing? Why are there not 2 at all times? Because then Ambrose couldn't taser her.
Why aren't they all in the same room?
Yeah.
Just... Why is that so taxing? It's not the Garden of Gethsemane. Stay awake, guys.
Are they afraid of other Silurians attacking them? Are the others on guard in different places, like in different parts of the...
I don't think so. Well, when she does kill her, or shoot her with the laser, taser... What does she shoot her with?
It's a taser, isn't it? It's like a... Yeah, I think so.
So... Well, I'll come back to that. But yeah, so Rory's just... Rory's finally looking at Tony's green...
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm a nurse, why didn't you tell me? Which, again, as you mentioned last week, why isn't Rory helping? But yeah, maybe he just didn't know. I don't know.
He didn't know, actually, yeah.
Because he's terribly unobservant, and he can't see Tony just constantly scratching and peering down his top.
Yeah. But what was I going to come back to?
Yeah.
What did I just say?
What are they doing while she's tasering what's-her-face?
So, okay, because it is a taser, it's not a gun. Like, of all those weapons that we saw her gathering... She's taken the least kind of innocuous.
Yeah, but she only took that because it was the only thing she could hide on her person.
But
because the rest was like a huge rifle. Slip that down your trouser leg, and there's like, why aren't you bending your knees, Ambrose?
I'm doing a soldier walk. But yeah, do you think that she had no intention of killing her, and it was just a different genetic makeup that it affected her more than it would have a human?
Yeah, I don't think she was going to kill her because she wanted information.
Yeah,
right? She was torturing her, I think, is what.
Is that worse?
No. It's all pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yes, Ambrose, she's pure evil.
There's
no gradations in pure evil.
Oh, she is pure evil.
She's not.
I feel a bit sorry for her that she is just... It's all projected onto her.
Yeah.
She's the black heart of the episode.
When no one else does anything redeeming, really. They're all a bit evil.
Yeah. Or just feckless and ineffective.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It happened on Rory's watch.
It did.
Why isn't the Doctor shouting at Rory?
I don't know.
Right, here's my question.
Okay.
Why does the Doctor need human germs to keep him alive? Because that apparently... is asserted.
I don't think... I also thought that sounded a little bit stupid, but I don't think it's human germs. I think what they're doing is they're subtracting... Not germs, they're subtracting everything that isn't a healthy human.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Oh, okay. So they are destroying his Time Lord. DNA.
Everything.
Yeah.
They're destroying his
bio.
body, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how I took it.
Oh, okay. Because I
Get rid of that extra heart.
wrote a separate explanation.
Oh,
which
let's
was
hear it.
that he keeps coming back to Earth because the Time Lords were obviously learned how to cure every strain of space herpes. But the Doctor went to Leeds, contracted super gonorrhea, no Time Lord cure for it, and that is what's
Must
keeping him
come
alive.
back to Earth.
Yeah.
Just to keep his super gonorrhea at bay.
Yeah. But I guess
Inside the TARDIS, like, just like the collapsing star in the center of it, there's just super gonorrhea,
Yeah.
like floating around in a perfect ball.
which Rory, as a nurse, nurtures with his medical knowledge.
That's pretty sexy.
Okay, I have a thing about Tony.
Okay, I was going to say a Tony thing as well. Go for it.
No, you go first.
No,
because
no,
I just said a thing. You say your Tony thing.
Well, I was going to ask, can we please pitch different ideas for the Buck Rogers in the 31st century equivalent of Tawny spin-off that we could potentially have? Because now they're going to sleep. They're going to sleep for 1,000 years. They're going to wake up, potentially in a world of Silurians. It's just the two of them. But it's like they're not going to be at war with people. It's just going to be like a regular Silurian. It's going to be the Earth as it is now, except everyone's a Silurian.
Is Tony
Plus Tony
going
Mac.
to turn into a Silurian?
No, he's just going to sleep for 1,000 years.
They're going to put him through the DNA thing. But if they hadn't put him through the DNA thing...
Oh, he's going to die.
Is that... No, they was like, you're morphing. Like...
Oh.
I'm sure they said something like he was...
I thought it was...
he's turning green slowly.
Yeah.
That seems to be where it's leading.
He's going to be turning into a Silurian.
Really? I thought it was just...
I'm sure there was something like that.
Oh, I took that to be poison,
So
but
weird.
that's...
Yeah.
That
seems...
would be the classic lazy Doctor Who trope.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we just found out how they procreate. They just lick something biological and it turns into Silurian.
That's what they're doing with all the dead bodies.
You have to eat an apple really quickly if you do, if you're a Silurian, because
Isn't
otherwise
that
it turns into a Silurian. It turns into your child in your mouth.
Isn't that the Aztec creation myth? Let's move on. I said
No spin-off. Okay, fine.
in my notes, my money was on Tony becoming a 31st century driller, but the Silurians are drillers par excellence. How
They
is
are.
Tony going to find a job?
Oh, but here's the thing: they can only drill upwards. He's an
Tony
expert
knows how
at
to
drilling
go
downwards.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, we can have it'll be a remake of Armageddon, and they wake up Tony Mac, Return of Tony Mac, and it's like, oh well, we got to send someone to this asteroid. Who's it gonna be? Tony Mac and Nazreen, and Steve Buscemi as a Silurian for comic relief. It'd be great.
He would make a great Silurian.
He would. Yes, he would.
Yeah.
Steve, if you're listening. What I couldn't understand was why Tony just decided, yeah, I'll put my lot in for the full 1,000 years, thanks, when his grandson is presumably going to become the chosen one of the great religion of the 2000s. And he can be like the demigod's grandfather, but no, he'd rather stay with Nazarene. And
I reckon that in
that's all
about
gone.
20, 25 years' time, what's his face?
Elliot.
Elliot is going to be a cult leader. He's going to make a lot of people drink a lot of Kool-Aid. And
Yeah.
because
When
the only people who will follow Elliot are people who believe in like these subterranean reptile monsters.
Yeah, little green men.
Exactly. Well,
But
not just
people
little
don't-
green men.
No, people genuinely think Justin Bieber's a lizard person.
Exactly. Yeah, the same people who believe in the lizard conspiracy, the people who run the world.
I was about to say that, maybe that's what happened. Oh, maybe we're all living it. But yeah. I was
We're not, though. The guy at the end, the overarching narrator, Stephen Moore, by the way, we need to talk about him, is saying, and this definitely all happened 1,000 years ago, and now we've learnt to share the planet 1,000 years on. That's definitely what happened.
Yeah, and we're in that middle 1,000 years bit where they're just starting to spread the rumours about the lizard people being, like, people think the queen
Wait, we're not
is
in
a
the
lizard
middle.
person.
So
We're
Elliot
not
is
in the
doing,
middle.
Elliot
Oh, yeah.
is
He's
doing a Donna, doing a cane and kung fu, and walking the earth and telling everyone.
Not Donna, Martha.
It's not a Donna.
Martha, sorry.
It's a Martha. Come on,
Can I
dude.
do that bit again?
do it quickly.
So Elliot is doing Martha doing a cane and kung fu and walking the earth and telling everyone about the little green under the ground lizard men.
I want to know how you do that. If someone turned to you and said, "Tell the world, like the lizards are coming back in 1,000 years," where do you start?
Well,
What
for
do you
starters,
do?
he's going to do what he's best at. He's going to draw a bunch of maps.
Here's a map to the lizard people. No, I can't do Welsh. Don't do Welsh.
They're down here.
Yeah. Just drill down until you can't drill anymore. I don't know what I'm doing.
I can't do it at all.
To be fair, half of Wales, at least, nay, all of Wales is bristling at my, awful impression. So I apologise, Wales, and indeed Ireland, and indeed Scotland for
What, you mean that country of murderers, Drew? Is that what you're referring
Shit,
to?
they're on their way right now. Straight down the M4.
Wales are really happy. They believe the lizard myth because they like to think that the centre of the universe is under them.
Well, I mean, the timey-wimey crack around which Doctor Who is now built was.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice one.
Nice one, Wales.
Do you think this was to placate RTD? Like, because he's just been sobbing for 6 months and it's been taken from him. I regret it. I want it all back.
Okay, shall we have some final bits and bobs to wrap it up?
Wait, Drew had a point about Tony. Did you say your point already?
Well, connected to that point about Tony is another point where Nazreen turns out to be digging for Tony after all, when just 2 minutes earlier she was so indignant. The drill's my life's work. I couldn't possibly consider anything else as important, but now I'm going to give it all up for Tony.
Well,
yeah, she's digging it.
The drill's been blown up.
I'm sorry.
I liked that she was like, I've finally got what I was drilling for. Why would I leave now? Like that's that spirit of adventure, and that's why the Doc latched onto her and he trusted her in the TARDIS and he liked her. I like Nazreen.
It just seems like a massive about face. Like, I cared about the past, but now I don't. Here's my future. Way! Let the past go. Fuck the past. Couldn't be less asked about the past.
Would you not be tempted if someone could put you to sleep tomorrow and wake up in 1,000 years and see what the world was, and your loved one was with you as well? You don't have to abandon.
And he wasn't green anymore.
Exactly.
He wasn't all veiny and horrible.
I bought
Except in the right places.
I would go, oh.
Sorry, what?
Not green, Drew.
No, not green. No, you don't. You don't want that to be green.
No, you don't. I like that Nazreen stayed with him. I thought that was adventurous and courageous.
Yeah, I agree. She also seems to be the only one who doesn't have any connections up top, and also the only thing, like, her family was the business, the research project, whatever they were researching.
Which has now been exploded.
Exactly. She has nothing to return to. Yeah. The only thing that she knows is that there's this one corpulent chap who likes kissing her, so yeah, maybe you try that.
Who's kissed her once?
Yeah.
It's a gamble. He might be terrible with tongue.
Oh.
It might be.
Maybe she's hoping that he's going to develop one of those Silurians tongues. But
that would be very handy.
Yeah.
Although then it would turn her green.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it'd be worth it.
Maybe you can turn off your venom gland.
And activate the love gland.
And turn on Nazreen. I've got a question, actually.
Oh, now you're replete with questions.
Wait, hang on, sorry. Do you have any final thoughts?
My only one was a little tidbit, which was that Eldane.
Oh, damn it.
Is that yours?
well, I was going to say, I have a question. Do you want to... Can I ask a question?
Ask a question. Why not?
I've got a final note about Stephen Moore. Do it.
Just a quick question. Marie, the Eldane, the chap who played Eldane, like, I mean, his voice seemed really familiar. Has he done anything before?
I thought so too, and so I looked him up, and he, in fact, is the voice of Marvin, the paranoid android, in The Hitchhikers, both in the radio series and in the TV series.
Oh, in the radio series as well?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
In the radio series, he did a shit ton of voices, including the whale.
Oh.
He voiced everyone. It was great. But yeah.
I think you ought to know that I'm very impressed.
Oh, well done.
Do you know what? We looked this up after we watched this yesterday, me and Leon.
Yeah.
And I was convinced for a second that was where I knew his voice from as well. But it turns out where I actually know his voice from is from being the father of Kevin the teenager on Harry Enfield.
Oh, no way!
Yeah. So he's the one who's always going, Kevin, I hate you, so unfair.
I did not know that.
Yes,
That's
but do you know what?
Knowledge.
He did not appear in the film Kevin and Perry Go Large, presumably because he read the script.
Oh.
So well done, Stephen Moore.
Yes, bravo. Good choices.
Yeah, well done. I have no idea what this is. And now it is time to rate this.
Did we love or hate this?
Bing bong, hey, la 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 la.
Ratings. I liked this episode better than I expected to.
Ooh.
Better than that functional, workmanlike opener. But that does not mean it was high quality. In fact, the way people showed up at just the right time in scene after scene, and the characters were merely vehicles for each subsequent plot point, reminded me of nothing so much as old Scooby-Doo episodes. Where you have peril and then someone else enters the room. Because that's the cheapest, most unimaginative way of resolving the situation. And that definitely makes Amy this episode scrappy.
Oh, wow.
I anticipated with some trepidation greater scale, pun now intended, along the lines of the Sontarans last series, but those budget cuts took care of those. But then the more intimate setting didn't really do it for me either. It was like some weird mix of bottle episode and epic that didn't ever come off. By the end of the episode, I had the strangest sensation that I barely watched anything at all. So slight was the entertainment. And then Rory died, and the TARDIS exploded, and that was great, but the score was only pulled up to 2.1 for me.
Okay.
What was last week's score, remind me?
I think I gave it 1.8.
You did give it 1.8. Wow.
I like this one marginally more.
Marginally more.
Interesting.
But I would never watch the Turbo Parter again.
No.
Yeah, all right.
I don't really know where to start. I think I actually enjoyed both of these episodes while watching them. But every time, either listening to the last podcast or actually being in this podcast, as we've talked about them, it just kind of everything's been ripped to shreds and you realise how poorly constructed both of them were. And I don't know if there are enough good... I'm trying to think of good bits now to bring up the score, and I can't really.
Amy says, actually, I preferred it when I didn't know, to be honest.
I don't know if that's a good bit. Is that a good bit?
It's a adequate 3 seconds.
Okay, sure. Yeah, again, Amy really annoys me in this episode, as she does in most episodes. I struggle with this series because I love Matt Smith, and I really like this kind of story arc that's happening, but Amy bugs me so much. And her relationship with Rory, again, is weak and not fleshed out. But then the bit that, as you said, at the end, it all comes together and it's genuine heartache, and that was really emotional when Rory dies again. Amy is sad again. So I really, really liked that ending. That last 5 minutes was wonderful. But like I said, it could have been tacked onto any episode. It wasn't integral to the, that story's plot. It was the kind of overall story arc. So I don't know how much you can let that sway the episode. I don't know.
That's potentially the only bit Chibnall wasn't responsible for.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Is that not Moffat's input as the story runner? Is it?
Maybe.
I don't know.
You got a decision to make.
But anyway, I think the number that's floating in my head is 2.4. So.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. That's higher than I thought. I thought you'd say 2.1, and then I thought you'd say 2.1 because that's the right score.
I'm going to go lower than 2.1. I gave part 1 1.6. So here's one thing that really bothers me about this. It's that even though the episode, this double feature, concludes with sort of the promise of something in the future, we end up pretty much in the same place we were at the start of part 1. Okay, fine. We have
Minus
no
Rory.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
Yeah.
So we are now still on Earth. Yeah, sure, there's a whole subterranean species, but that's not going to make a difference to anyone. Oh, there's this drilling thing going on, but now there is no drilling thing, and it doesn't matter because no one lives in this tiny little village, which is basically just a church and a drill, so it doesn't really matter. Nothing has changed. Absolutely nothing has changed, and there's no promise of anything changing for the better. We wanted to see the best of humanity. They were foiled by, in my opinion, the wrong person, and so now I want to see the best of humanity prevail, but the best of humanity, it turns out, is a murderer and her child who draws nonsense maps. So, come on, what is this about? Was disappointed by Rory, I was disappointed by Amy, or their roles in this story. I continue to dislike Amy. I'm looking forward to really liking her, because I remember, the first time I watched all this, I remember really liking them. They were my favourite companions of New Who. I told people that when I was asked. Yeah. And now I don't know why. So I'm looking forward to being convinced otherwise, you know. Oh, okay. Sorry, one teeny tiny point. What was done on the surface by Ambrose, I wanted that, or I expected that, to be mirrored below the surface by chubby Rick Grimes, by her husband. He gets to see his son in this little cocoon thing, and he goes, well, like, you think that he's going to go on some sort of revenge rampage. He's going to go on a revenge trip of some description and maybe at least save the day, maybe be willing to sacrifice himself. He's going to rescue his son.
Have a personality.
Exactly, but instead it's just like, oh, you're one of the people wielding a gun, you're one of the people losing a gun within 2 seconds, and you're now completely, there's no point to you.
His is worse than Amy, because at least Restak approaches Amy and there's a bit of a face-off, whereas with Mo, it's just like, you're giving us as well.
Yeah, just give us your gun.
Here it is, great.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
But he also doesn't express any. It's just like, oh well, I found our boy. I rescued our boy. No, you didn't. You saw him and you walked away.
Yeah.
So I gave part 1 1.6, and you gave part 1 1.8. I'm giving this 1.8 only because the finale I think is really cool. I like the not seeing Rory, and I like the TARDIS bit.
Yeah. I mean, could the Doctor not have accessed some gadget from the millions on the console in the TARDIS, and like a grappling hook, like a timey-wimey grappling hook, thrown it into the crack and seen what came out on it? But then, of course, you wouldn't get the unwrapping as the reveal. But you could still think of some way to delay that reveal and make it better. I tell you what, after seeing this double feature, I'm really quite pessimistic about Chris Chibnall as showrunner.
Oh, don't say that. We'll see what he can do.
He's written other episodes since.
He has.
Listener minis. Now let's hear from Podcast Land. Max 250.
Or it would get out of hand. Right, our first listener mini is from Kyle Rath, the sinister super spy himself.
Hello, Kyle.
Kyle begins. Once upon a time, human beings, a racist, insane species of ape, and Silurians, a species that can hack a random monitor in a trash can, but can't tell the moon from an asteroid. Almost achieved peaceful coexistence when suddenly a wild Ambrose appeared, generally fucking up the works. Some other shit happened. Rory dies. Everything that happens in this episode happens quickly. Escapes and captures, debates and raptures. It's all very fast. There are some nice moments. The Doctor's interactions with Nazarene are always enjoyable, are they? And so...
Yes.
Also, not so great ones. Squeaky bum time should not be a DW thing. Wholeheartedly agree.
Yes, yeah, agreed.
I don't know, I quite like squeaky bum time. Anyway, Kyle continues. Ultimately, the men settle into being set pieces as two sets of women occupy two sides to this story of good and bad decisions. I would have liked a female Silurian counterpart arguing in favour of coexistence as a counterpart to Restak.
Oh, that's what Leon said!
Honestly, I can't keep track of which feature is the true one. Is it human Silurian Earth togetherness? Is it Satellite 5/Game Station? Is it the sun burns out and humanity has to depart for the stars on separate national ships? But hey, no continuity, no problem, right?
Dramatically, the crack reappears to cough up a chunk of broken TARDIS and slurps up the remains of Rory, who valiantly gave his life saving the man who ran off with his fiancée the night before their wedding and generally ruined his now non-existent existence. 3.2 out of 5, says Kyle. I will say that the set design is outstanding, as the Lizard Kingdom and the creature effects are really vivid and organic. A nice nod or two to the classic series and a very, very reserved hope for what Chibs brings to the table for 13.
Thanks, Kyle, but are you still drunk and did you mean 2.3 again?
Awesome, Minnie. Thank you very much. People of Podcast Land, you can follow Kyle online. He is at Sinister Super Spy. That's super without any vowels. All right, next up. We've got a lot of these. Next up is, what's his name?
Oh, Michael Ridgway.
Ridgway. I don't know how you want to, how do you want to close that?
Have you heard the theme tune to Stingray? It goes, Stingray, and then after a set amount of time, it then again says Stingray. Not everybody in the room just joins in, says Stingray, and then again says Stingray.
So this next one comes from Stingray, is what I got from that.
Right. So Stingray begins. World of Lizards becomes a side plot to Attack of the Crack, again, with tragic consequences. Good stuff! That ending! Number 2, celery reference. Celery reference, anyone?
Peter Davison
He wanted some celery.
Doesn't he have celery on his lapel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. But Michael counters with some beefs. Number 1, the Doctor's arm should totally have been erased. That would have been awesome.
Yes, exactly.
2, it's just supposed to be a screwdriver. 3, Malakeh's U-turn from Dr. Mengele to friendly neighbourhood lizard. 4, Silurian stormtrooper shooting skills. And beef number 5, the final beef. The engagement ring should be back in the shop, right?
True.
Oh, I forgot to ask you about that. What happens to the engagement ring?
But it's still there.
Oh, Michael.
Is it still there? It
the
falls
box-
down.
the box
It
was
falls
there.
down on the floor, but then after that, he is erased completely, right? Like, she's still struggling to remember. The Doctor clearly still remembers him.
I think he was already erased before that.
Was he?
And she was clinging on to the last memory, and then the memory went poof.
Ooh. Okay. Oh, super well observed, Michael Ridgway.
Also, if
Stingray.
If he has been utterly erased from history, then he essentially undoes the 11th hour in any episode he's appeared in up to this point. Right.
Holy smockaroonies and cheesecakes, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything we've seen so far with Rory happened differently.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
They should have turned left. They should have turned lefted the whole thing in 5 minutes at the end of the episode.
If Rory never existed, the only other eligible bachelor in that village of Ledworth
Yeah, Gorgeous Guy
is
should have
Gorgeous
been
Guy.
there.
Gorgeous Guy would have been like the only other person potentially that she might hook up with. Because
Yeah,
otherwise it's just old lady and guy with a tie.
And he should just suddenly pop into the TARDIS, and they're just snogging passionately, and the Doctor has to look on in utter horror because he's the only one who knows the truth.
And say something like, "Oh, you always do that, right?" No one, just me. Okay. Michael Ridgway continues.
Michael has an off-tangent rant. Rory's death in Erasure is devastating. Amy waving to herself minus Rory lingers long in the memory. My problem is that Rory's inevitable return undermines the poignancy of his demise, and this is a problem throughout New Who. In the few instances when a companion died in Classic Who, they were dead as dormice. In New Who, there is no death for the Doctor's nearest and dearest. Captain Jack, Rory, Clara, and Bill all died and came back. We were even cheated out of Donna's head exploding.
True.
This reduces the danger and threat. There are no life-threatening consequences as a companion.
I don't know why Doctor Who has this issue. Other recent science fiction shows are unafraid to, in brackets, permanently bump off co-stars. Even the power of the Doctor's death is regularly undermined by his ample time to choose a regeneration. The Ninth Doctor, who should have been as flat as a pancake, make endless, yawn, farewells. The irradiated 10th Doctor regain his youth for a farewell. 11th Doctor, and have an entire Christmas adventure. The 12th Doctor, clearly blasted by Cybermen multiple times. When the 4th Doctor fell to his demise, or when the 7th Doctor was machine-gunned, that was it. Game over. After 10 seasons, does this show need to start getting a bit more brutal? In summary, much better than part 1 and definitely worth a sequel set 1,000 years later. I presume mankind will have global warmed to death by now, so no need to share the planet. And he gives this, 2.7 out of 5. Silurian laser blast missing its target at point blank range. Wonderful. Thank you very, very much, Michael.
We love you, Michael.
Love you, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
Whoop, whoop.
Who's next? The hits just keep on coming.
They do. In chronological order, the next one comes from David E.
Ooh.
David E, who is a...
Who's E? Who's E when he's at home?
David E, who is a newcomer to mini-reviewing New Who, but he has already made an appearance as a mini-reviewer on Classic Who.
Oh, nice. Diversifying, David.
So welcome aboard once again, David E. Right, this is for Hungry Earth and Cold Blood.
So David begins his review. Mumbling Matt Smith is the absolute worst actor to play the Doctor ever. Amy is as acerbic and unlikable as that Jyn Erso from Rogue One, and Rory is completely pathetic. Hate them all.
Okay.
David E continues. I would have preferred the makeup for the Silurians to have looked a bit more reptilian in the face rather than the normal human face with a normal human nose with just scales on it. How can they have been braver in the 70s with something like this and had no money?
Yeah. He continues, and it's a total cop-out to have identical Silurian twin sisters just so you only have to make one mask for one actress. No one buys that. It's cheap.
David continues, there are many Smith stories worth worse than this, so I have to grade this higher, so there's enough of the shit pile to dig into. 1.7.
That's a pretty good rating, I think, in my mind. Yeah.
Yeah. David says, laters, and thanks for the amazing podcast. Well, thanks for the amazing listener mini, David.
Yes, exactly. Awesome stuff. Keep them coming.
Woo.
Thank you very much. Next up is Tracy Fountain.
Hi, Tracy.
And this one starts, oh, this one disappoints. So, I liked the narration, but I thought it didn't fit very well. It built up a moment that never paid off because it was postponed 1,000 years. You know what would have worked nicely? A quick tease of that future day arriving. Oh, that's a good point. Just have a line of text state 1,000 years later and a shot of Nasreen and Tony opening their eyes. Eldane facing them both saying,
Welcome to the world of tomorrow!
Alternatively saying, all right, you two, let's get to work. Nasreen could flash that smile as the credits roll. Perfect.
Tracy continues, payoffs that never came. Graves that eat people. Why? How? Also, why?
Oh, we figured it out.
Yeah.
Well, Marie did.
Listen to Marie an hour ago.
Well done.
But Tracy has a second payoff that never came. Number 2, Amy and maybe Rory wave to themselves from the hillside. To my knowledge, we never see the other half of this interaction. Maybe it wasn't them? Oh, but the Doc has his binoculars. He identifies them through the binoculars. He's going to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, I think both those payoffs came, Tracy, but... But Tracy continues.
Well, Drew, this time Amy is doing the countdown. Again, what did you think?
I really wish I'd paid attention.
WTH, what the heck is squeaky bum time?
Do you want us to... Is your daughter listening, Tracy? It's when perhaps your personal hygiene has failed to live up to its usual high standards.
Oh.
And as you're walking, you make a noise
I think that's
where
enough.
you shouldn't. Yeah.
That's enough, Drew. Yeah.
Tracy continues, hey kid, your mum is a murderer, also a bit of a warmonger.
Just a bit.
Don't blame her. She's had numerous opportunities to stop herself and make better choices, but she didn't. She's therefore the best person to teach you to do better. Right?
Oh shit, and we've lost Rory again. Probably time to start one of these. Rory death count 2. The impact of Rory's death is softened considerably by the lack of time spent in that emotional moment. Does anyone believe he's gone for good at this point? Because if he is, what a crap send-off.
Actually, that's true. Seeing this in order chronologically, we're meant to be more exercised about the fragment of the TARDIS appearing than Rory just potentially leaving the show.
Yeah, that's
it
true.
seems incredibly obvious that he's coming back.
Yeah.
Or incredibly callous. One or the other. Tracy's rating is, alas, poor Rory. And I think that's one we can all understand.
Yes, most definitely. You can follow Tracy online. She is at...
You got me up enough.
That's Fountain Tracy.
Backwards.
Tracy,
Still got it.
thank you very much for an awesome mini. Next up, ooh, a new person.
A new person.
Hello, Carrie Smith.
Hi, Carrie.
As in new to the podcast in general, not just shipped over from the classic.
Correct.
Nice!
Woo!
Maybe she likes this episode.
Let's see.
Let's find out.
Oh, I just caught a glimpse of a rating. Okay. Drew, do you want to start us off?
Carrie begins, hated these two eps back when they first aired, and I hate them more now.
Nice one.
Especially this one. With the exception of Ambrose, no tension here is earned. It is all manufactured by the writing to create false urgency. I mean, that would be enough.
Well,
but Carrie continues.
Why do we have to negotiate to share the Earth right now? Who believes Amy and Nasreen are authorized to negotiate for Earth? As if any government will accept an agreement they made.
Yeah, good point.
Why are the Silurian warriors so angry and bloodthirsty? And why is the Doctor so pro-Silurian anyway?
We are told we have to negotiate. The warriors just wake up cranky and murderous, and the Doctor states the Silurians are noble. None of this is shown or earned or even explained in exposition. And Ambrose is weirdly vilified by both the script and the Doctor. The Silurian torturer the Doctor loves because he didn't torture a child, but Ambrose, provoked into attempting to torture a Silurian to save her entire family, is the worst of humanity. Pretty sure the Doctor has met worse people he didn't act so disgusted with.
Rory's death and Amy's reaction were done much better 2 episodes prior. So here lose all the emotional intensity.
Rory's body just sliding away was a chilling visual. Amy forgetting Rory and Matt Smith's look of sadness and remorse was a great scene, but not enough to redeem this pile of boring nonsense.
And she gives this a 1.0 for being Doctor Who, the Silurian makeup costume, and Matt Smith.
Actually, yes. You know what? Over these 2 episodes, none of us have talked about Matt Smith's performance.
Yeah.
And I think he's quite game.
He does a good job.
In the midst of such a lot of crap.
I think I just, at this point, just take it as a given that he's just good in every episode, actually. Like, he's quite a solid...
Yeah. I think possibly.
We don't have to comment.
We shouldn't be taking him for granted, though.
No, but we are.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Carrie, fantastic stuff. Welcome aboard. People of Podcast Land, please do yourselves a favour and follow her on Twitter. She is at Nerdy Shelties.
Is that it? Have we only got 5?
Only 5. This was good fun. Next up.
Marie, what's next up, Marie?
Polish macaronis and cheesecakes.
Marie, what is it?
Marie, what's the next one? Marie, what is the next one?
Well, I can't remember exactly what it's called. Is it Vincent and the Doctor?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. I can't wait.
Marie, is that your favourite episode?
It might be.
Is that going to be a 5.0? Is that going to be like a completely perfect
And
episode?
then I have to see if you shit all over it, won't I?
Well, if it's your favourite episode.
Don't shit all over it, guys. Come on.
Maybe we'll splooge all over it.
Let's just have a massive splooge.
Wait, does that raise the rating? Like, what, Drew, in your mind, is it like, oh, well, I was only going to give it a 3.2, but, you guys just came on it, so I'm going to give it a 4.8. So, yeah, that's right. That's the next new Who review. The next classic Who review is going to be Planet of the Daleks.
Ooh!
Yeah, which is
Daleks, back in action.
Which is the follow-up, the second part in a double feature as well. The continuation of Frontier in Space. People can follow you on Twitter, Drew. You are?
I'm at Drew Back When.
Excellent branding. You can follow me as well. I am at Ponkin. You know how to spell that, I'm assuming. Marie, you're not on Twitter?
Mm-mm.
That's all right. We won't judge. I am almost as absent on Twitter as you are, is what I'm trying to say.
Tweet more.
I know I should. You should still follow me, Podcast Land.
Really selling this.
Yeah, really good at marketing myself.
Be funnier.
Yeah, I'll try. Thank you so much for listening. Until the next time, be rad and excellent to each other. Rock on and ciao.
Bye-bye.
Toodles.
Kablamo! Did you enjoy the show? Then please do what the cosmos compels you to and spread the gospel of Who Back When. Tell your friends.
I've got no friends.
No problemo. Tell some strangers.
Hey!
Like us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/whobackwhen. All in one word.
Are you into Twitter? Awesome. High five us online and we'll high five you right back. You guessed it. We're at Who Back When. All in one word.
Check us out on Instagram for behind-the-scenes photos and other Whovian goodness. Watch our videos or even listen to our podcast on YouTube. That's whobackwhen.com/YouTube.
Vote us up on Reddit, listen to us on Stitcher, and head on over to our website, whobackwhen.com, where you can submit a review of your own, browse the article archives, and peruse our visual index of aliens, monsters, and more, which increases in kablamos with every episode.
And lastly, give us a rating and review on iTunes. It helps our show get noticed and earns you lots of karma points.
That's it. Rock on and be rad and excellent to each other.
Catch your earballs in our next Who review or bonus episode.
Until then, ciao.
Who Back When?